Okay, that's 1 minute past. So I'll just do a quick introduction. So my name's Tracy Smith. I'm Workforce Development Lead within the ICB, the North East North Cumbria ICB. I'm joined by a couple of other colleagues. I don't know whether is Kate on the call. There's lots of people. Hang on, there's still people joining. 2 ticks.
Not sure if Kay's on the call, but I'm here.
Steve. Hiya, Steve. Lovely. Thanks. So Steve's our colleague from DWP. A lot of you might already be aware of him anyway. So today we have got a couple of speakers joining the session. This is a very informal session. It's meant to be used for a learning session for people to talk about different topics across the patch really, and what resources that we've got available to us. So I've been inviting various people to come in and speak at these meetings. We'd like people to use the chat if they feel they can, and pop in any questions that you want to ask. Likewise, put your hand up. We're happy to, this is very open, just speak your mind. We want to hopefully answer any questions that people have got. We're here to support predominantly the patient advisor, service advisors and the work coaches that are dotted around our system. We've got quite a lot of you now, and you are really under the spotlight. We're really interested in what you're doing, how you're doing it, and if you've got any challenges that we can help and support you with, we'd really like to know. But today's session, like I say, it's only an hour's session, so we try and fit in as much as we can. Today we've got a lady called Carleen Dowden. Welcome, Carleen, from our pension and money and pension service, to talk about some sort of financial resources that we've got. I've also got colleagues from the Making Every Contact Count team, the MEC team, which is Mandy and Chantel. So thanks for joining, Mandy and Chantel. We may have other colleagues who may want to just put the hand up. I don't know if there's anybody here from Health Innovations. Possibly, but anyway, they might join us. So, but again, as I say, please use the chat and pop your hand up if you have got any questions throughout. So what I'll do, as you can see, I've recorded this session, and we do record them every session, and we put them on our YouTube channel where you can access them later or share them with colleagues. And I'll drop those in the notes after the meeting so you can share with colleagues who aren't able to attend today. So I'll pass you over to Carleen. Carleen, welcome.
Hi, afternoon, everyone. I'll just share my screen. Just let me know when you can see that.
Yep, I can see that. Thanks.
Super. Hi. So yeah, my name's Carleen Dowden, and I am from the Money and Pension Service. So we're an arm's length government organisation, and we are the biggest single funder of debt advice here in the United Kingdom. So we fund partners such as Citizens Advice and other organisations, so that anybody within the UK can access free debt advice. And we also have our Money Helper service, which is a free money guidance service for anybody in the United Kingdom, and that is really what I am going to be talking about today. So it's my understanding that both the advisors and the work coaches are kind of advising, guiding clients, customers on a broad range of things, and that you have to kind of know a little bit about a lot of things, and that really resonates with me because that is very much like my job. I'm not a financial advisor. I am here. My role is really about raising awareness of lots of different products and services that we offer for lots of different groups. So what I wanted to talk through today was some of the services support on offer. So hopefully at the end of the call, you will be able to be a little bit more confident in supporting the people that you're supporting with money issues. And we know that money issues are a kind of growing concern for larger amounts of groups as time goes on. Feel free to ask questions as we go along, either verbally or put them in the chat, but also happy to take some questions at the end if we've got time. So as I've already said, Money Helper is a service there really to help people, particularly those most in need, to try and improve their financial well-being and build a more confident future. And just before I go on to the services of Money Helper, I just wanted to show some kind of data that is from our most recent Money View survey. So every year we release a survey to show the state of individuals' financial well-being here in the United Kingdom. So actually it's a little bit out of date now. So it's our 2025, we're due our 2026 very shortly. But I'm not going to read all of this out, but I just wanted to pull out some really stark figures. So we ask over 10,000 people across England, and you can see from 58% of people asked are currently struggling or falling behind on their everyday commitments. So this is where we're talking about everyday things that they have to pay, like rent or mortgage, utility bills, grocery shopping. So this is not about being extravagant. This is people really struggling just to meet those everyday costs. And then another real kind of stark figure is 32% of people couldn't pay an unexpected bill of £300 from spare money. So we use the amount £300 because this is often the cost of a new white good, like the cooker breaks, or you need 4 new tyres on your car to be able to get to work. It's failed its MOT. And we know that 32% of people can't afford that. And of course, also they tend to be the people that don't have access to affordable credit. So when these things do come up, then it kind of drives them into debt. And you'll see just from both of those stats, so in terms of those not being able to keep up with current bills, that has increased from 52% last year to 58%. Now, these are Northeast figures. These are kind of mostly in line with national figures, although some of them do tend to be worse for the Northeast, and not struggling to pay bills is one of them. And also people in the Northeast, their financial fitness, so that is kind of the position they're in currently, being able to buy the things they need to buy, meet bills and commitments, put away for the future. People in the Northeast have low financial fitness with, and that is a score of 31%. So I'm not going to dwell on these. I think it was just to set the scene. And to be honest, I probably don't need to tell a lot of you who are on here kind of this is the situation, because I imagine these are the type of issues that people are coming to you with on a regular basis. So I've already said Money Helper is a free and independent service. So it's a full telephony service that can be accessed on that telephone number. And we also have our digital offer, and that is a really comprehensive website with lots of tools and resources, some of which I'm going to go through with you now. So we've got, if you imagine, Money Helper provides guidance on a broad range of topics. So everything from family issues, savings, investments, debt, credit, anything you can possibly imagine someone has a question about to do with money, they can usually find the answer on Money Helper. And I think also one of the things that you can be assured of when you're signposting customers to Money Helper service, or in fact, we know lots of kind of people in similar roles to you, so work coaches and JCP, or social prescribers, etc. we work with, they often sit with customers and kind of use the functions on the website, sitting side by side with them. And what they can be assured when they're doing that is everything on there is completely up to date. It is in line with changes to government policy, changes in legislation, as and when things change with the budget, anything to do with money, all of the content on Money Helper is updated to make sure it's the most up-to-date information. So although you can get information from other areas, this is kind of a trusted source, and it's all in one place, and I think that's the beauty of it. So I've just pulled out section from the website on work. So if you were to click on any of those things, so employment, losing your job, so you might be talking to someone who actually they are looking to get back into work, and they're thinking about going self-employed, but they've never been self-employed before, and they have no idea where to start in terms of the types of things that they have to do when they're self-employed, like filing tax returns, setting up limited companies if that's applicable to them. And another really good tool we've got on there to do kind of with the work side is the salary calculator. So this is a relatively new tool, and this is whereby an individual would put in. So, you know, one of the things we hear time and time again, you know, it's not worth me going to work. If I am unable to claim A, B, and C because I'm earning, you know, I need to know it's worth my while. Or people who are about to take up employment or looking at employment opportunities, but they actually need to see how much they're going to have in their pocket at the end of the week, at the end of the month. So the salary calculator allows them to put in the gross salary that they're going to earn, or if, for example, it also allows you to put in weekly wages. So this is applicable for anybody, whether on salary, 0 hours, all types. It allows you to change the dials to the most applicable. It then allows them to put in things like if they're making any additional pension contributions, are they paying off certain things, student loans, etc. And what it then does, it allows them to see what is going to be their take-home net pay, which, as we know, is often very different from the kind of gross salary. So this can then be a start for financial decision making and planning. So they can say, oh, well, actually, every week I'm going to be coming home with £330. Is that going to be enough? How can I now use that to help me budget and manage my finances? And that's just coming back, actually, another section about the different kinds of employment status. If you were to click on any of the articles, so the website's made up of a number of different articles and tools and calculators. So the articles are information kind of written down in the most layman terms to money and finance is a difficult subject for the most highly educated of people. It's often something that people shy away with because they don't understand. So therefore, for people with maybe learning difficulties or literacy or numeracy below kind of their age, their standards below their age, sometimes it can be really daunting. So all of the articles and information are put in the most simplest terms on the website to help a better understanding. Another really popular tool on the website is the benefits calculator. So this can again be helpful to people who are thinking, you know, you're looking at, they're saying they don't have enough money and actually going to work is not going to be worthwhile for them. But could it be that they could maximize their income with other things that they may be entitled to? So the benefits calculator allows them to put in details such as kind of their age, their employment status, do they have any disabilities, are they looking after anyone? And it will then pull up benefits that they may be entitled to, which can be helpful. And again, they're making decisions about, you know, what type of employment they're looking at, what kind of, how benefits may impact on wages, etc. We've also got a huge other amount of things related to work and benefits. So things around, you know, universal credit, salary sacrifice, lots around pensions. And another tool. So one of the kind of fundamental principles of managing your money is effective budgeting. And you would be really surprised at the amount of people who do not know how much money they've got coming in every week or month and how much money they've got going out. And that is really a fundamental principle of managing your money, because we know so many people that just kind of go and tap the card or try and take cash out, just thinking, oh, hoping for the best. They haven't got a handle on whether they've got enough. They're just hoping for the best. So the budget planner really helps people look at what their current situation is. So if you are working or supporting anybody who is struggling financially, one of the first things that you should be doing with or signpost them to is to do the budget planner. And this is a really useful tool. So they put in their income, so any money they're getting in from benefits, friends or family, work, or any other money that they might have coming in, and then they put in all of their outgoings, all their expenditure. So things like, and these are drop down boxes which prompts them: rent, mortgage, council tax, grocery shop, savings, anything that they are spending. There's also some free boxes in there to put their own things in if they're not listed. It then does a little pie chart, so it will show them what their spending is going on. So you can see the little pie chart there. Now, for many people at the moment who are really feeling the pinch, and it'll be no surprise, the biggest parts of the spend generally are rent or mortgage, council tax and utilities. Grocery shop is a big one. But for some people, what they might see there is big chunks being spent on takeaways or taxis or things that are what we would class as non-essential spending, which is fine if you've got a surplus income. But for people who are struggling financially, they need to think about what are their priorities and what do they need to spend first. And then what they do after they've done the little pie chart, it'll show them kind of what their disposable income is. So that's what they've got left at the end of the week or month after they've paid out everything that they need. And then again, that can lead on to decisions about, okay, I actually have a surplus of £500 a month, if they're very lucky, and could I be putting more in my pension or saving, or actually could I think of a job with a reduced salary or whatever that might be. And then lastly, the tool prints out personalized guidance on what that person's situation is. So unfortunately, what we are currently seeing is more and more people in a deficit budget. So whereby what they've got coming in is not covering their essential basic costs. So coming back to that 58% of people who are struggling at the moment. What that would then suggest is that if that is continuing over a period of time, that person is likely to be getting themselves into debt because they've still got all those outgoings. They still need to be paid. So where are they getting that money from to be able to do that? So this tool then also signposts them on to debt advice. The budget planner is really good in terms, it doesn't take any personal information. So the person would not be recognized from this. So it doesn't take their name or anything like that. It's all just numbers that they put in. They can put their email address in. And if they do, what that allows them to do is revisit the form so they can keep going back and updating. So if things have changed, their wages have gone up or down, or their outgoings have gone up or down, they can change it. And also it allows them to put in their own spreadsheet, download as a spreadsheet, and then they can kind of change, and they're very clever, add formulas and things to do different calculations. So as I say, if you are speaking to people who are struggling to manage their money, or actually, you know, they might not be struggling, but they're looking at where they can be making savings or different things, signposting the budget planner is the first point of call. And then on from that, coming back to those people who don't have enough money coming in to pay everything, the bill prioritizer tool is a really good tool to help people identify what they should be prioritizing. So when we're working with people who can't afford to cover all of their essential outgoings, we would class things as priority bills and non-priority bills. So it's a bit misleading because all bills are a priority. Okay, all debt is a priority, but there are certain things that need to be paid first, and these are the things that are going to have the most serious consequences if they don't. So things like rent or mortgage, because that could lead to homelessness, eviction, council tax, anything owed, sorry, not council, anything owed to HMRC, council tax, and utility bills. They are the things that people should be paying first before they pay in the likes of minimum payment on a credit card or a car loan, etc. So what, and loads of people don't know the difference between a priority bill and non-priority. So this tool is really simple. All they do is they click on all the things that they need to pay, and it will prioritize them for them, and it will explain why they are a priority and why they're being paid off in the way that's suggested. Now, coming back to people who potentially are in debt or are about to become in debt, anybody in the UK can access free debt advice. And one of the ways they can do that is by calling Money Helper, and we will make a referral. But if they go online, they can also find a debt advisor near them. So they click on that little pink button, simply put in their postcode, and it would pull up a range of providers that they can access debt advice. And what you'd expect at the moment, face-to-face debt advice, they're going to have to wait a little bit longer for appointments because they're, you know, really busy. But there is lots of capacity still in kind of online or telephone appointments. And then we've got lots of other articles on things. So there's a whole section on struggling with rent increases or arrears. There's loads of template letters. We've got so things like writing to your creditor saying that, you know, creditors have a responsibility to help consumers. So if you're struggling, what people tend to do is when they're struggling financially, they hide it. So they wouldn't dare tell their mortgage provider, they wouldn't ring Barclays and say, oh, by the way, don't think I'm going to be able to afford the mortgage next month, because they think they're going to get evicted straight away. That is not the case. The best thing they can do is keep in touch with their creditor, because to see if they can get things put in place to help them for a period of time. Savings calculator. So for those who are in a fortunate position that are able to save this, they can put in how much they want to save, the interest rates they're getting, and it will calculate how long it's going to take them to get a certain amount saved. and they might be saving for something special, whether it be a new car or a holiday or their daughter's wedding. Anybody you're working with expectant mothers, this is a really good tool. It's the baby money timeline. So you put in your due date and it then brings up a whole timeline of things that you need to think about money-wise when pregnant. So to give you an example, this is a part of the timeline. So week 10, find out whether you qualify for Healthy Start vouchers. There's another one that's find out if what you're entitled to in terms of childcare. When do you put your notice in at work in terms of telling them you're going off on mat leave? When do you need to tell them you're coming back? So lots of things for people if you're working with expectant mothers on the types of things related to money, because of course what we say is when people are most impacted by money changes is around births, deaths, and kind of divorce and separation or illness. Those are the 4 main times when people really kind of throws things up in their finances. So this is one of the tools that can help with the birth situation. We've got a whole section on checking credit reports. So sometimes people will have mistakes on their credit report or they're being refused credit. And this is a really good way of allowing them to find out why that is. A whole section on what people to do if they've been refused credit. And then we've got a whole service on pension. So it may be that you are working with clients, customers who are actually thinking about, is it possible for me to retire? Do I need to go back to work? So we've got loads of tools and calculators on this. So we've got the pension calculator where basically they put in different pots of pensions that they may have, including state, any private pensions, how much they've got in that, what they're going to get. It then it allows you to change dials, so what age you want to retire at, what's your expected amount you're going to retire on, etc. And it calculates and it shows whether you have got a surplus or a deficit in your current pension to allow you to retire. And it allows you to change the dials to, so for example, you could increase the age at which you are going to retire, which would then kind of, you would have more in the pot, or reduce the amount of money that you think that you're going to need to retire on to get some basic calculations. I would advise anyone on here as well to do this yourself as an individual. So for you personally, it's a really, really insightful tool. Make sure you're sitting down when you do it, because I've yet to speak to anyone who has got an absolute surplus of pension available. Midlife MT, again, a really helpful tool for anyone. This is anyone between the ages of 45 and 65. It's 10 minutes and it asks a range of questions on their financial situation. So things like, what's the biggest sum of money you could pay tomorrow in emergency? Are you currently okay paying everyday bills and commitments? How much pension contribution are you making? And then what it does, it gives them a summary report at the end showing what their financial situation is. Big section on the website around finding lost or old pensions. There's literally billions of pounds worth of pensions sitting out there that people have not claimed because it was 25 years ago in their first job. They forgot about it. They've moved house. They don't get letters about it anymore. But what I would say, if you are working with anyone who thinks they have lost pensions, it is a bit of a laborious process to kind of trace them, but it's well worth doing it because those pensions, they're entitled to it, they paid into it, they may have grown since the last time they've seen them, and kind of every penny counts. Conscious of time, we're nearly done. And we've got a pension-wise service. So this is for anybody over 50 can have a free pension appointment with us, telephone appointment. They can either call up and get an appointment or book a slot on Money Helper. There's a number of different slots. This is for anyone over 50 and our pension specialist will go through their pension options with them. In terms of the kind of, so that's the summary, and I really went through that quickly. There's literally hundreds of thousands of tools and calculators. I've just picked out some of the most popular ones and the ones that I think may be most applicable to the people that you're supporting. But in terms of you as kind of advisors and work coaches, there are certain things that we can kind of offer. So all of our content and tools are free to copy or use in your own content, in newsletters, anything you're sending out to people. The tools and content can be syndicated on your own internal portals, onto, probably less applicable for this group, but for websites and things, they can all be put on there free of charge. As non-profit organisations as well, you can order up to 3,000 copies of free printed guides. So on the next slide, I'll show you've got these A5 guides on a number of different topics like managing my pension, coping with the cost of living, dealing with disability, and there are all these booklets that you can order free of charge. You can order an unlimited amount of Money Helper market materials. So I'll show you some of those in a minute. Booklets, leaflets, Z cards to hand out to the people that you're supporting to be able for them to access the service. And we also offer training sessions to help staff understand. So just like what I'm doing today for this group, if it was at your organisation, you know, there's a group of work coaches in your organisation that you think would benefit from this training, we're happy to do that. And also we do have something called a MAN, which is a free debt referral process. And this is where you, as advisors or work coaches, could make direct referrals for debt advice, and your customer would get an immediate call back from a debt agent. If anyone's interested in that, I didn't have time to talk about it today, get in touch and I can go over further details. And also, if anyone is interested in learning more about kind of money guidance, so in the capacity you're now, you're not going to be giving advice. It's not your day job, but you like to learn a little bit more. We have a Money Guiders network and community practice. Again, I can share the link that you can join in. There's loads of webinars and training and things we run on there on different things that might help you in your day job. So just to finish, that is the portal where you can order the printed guides. So you would click on guides for a non-profit organisation. It'll bring up all the different headers and they'll just get posted out to you. And these are some examples of the market materials we have. So that's a leaflet there and a Z card. The Z cards are like business type and they open up like that and they've got the details on. And lots of kind of brochures, leaflets and posters that you can use in your place of work to signpost people to. Thank you. I think I've stuck to time there, Tracy, as best as I could. I might be a couple of minutes over.
No, that's great. Thanks, Carleen. I think just also to mention, you can find the Money Helper on the Met Gateway as well, can't you?
Yeah. Sorry, I should have mentioned that.
That's fine. Just a reminder. And I know we've got the MEC team on anyway, coming on to a few bits and bobs. But yeah, the Money Helper is actually under the cost of living area on the Met Gateway, so you can see information then, links to click onto the website if you forget where things are. But we will share obviously all the links and things out with the notes after this meeting, so that's lovely. Has anybody got any questions at all for Carleen?
I said, just as a raise of kind of hands, has before today's meeting, how many of you have heard of Money Helper? Just put a virtual hand. So 1, 2, so a couple. Okay, that's good. And yeah, and oh, that's really good. So hopefully it's kind of reminded you that it is there to use and it's constantly updated. So there are always new, as I say, that salary calculator is a new one we've just launched a couple of weeks ago. There's always new things on there. And as topics arise, we put in new topics to kind of put information about the things people want to know about. Excellent.
That's great. Lovely. Thanks, Carleen. That's great. Like I say, if anybody has got any questions, please do feel free to pop them in the chat, or I will put Carleen's email address as well, just in case you wanted to go to a direct. That's lovely. So we'll move on. Now we've got the MEC team. So we've got Mandy, and I think, Mandy, you're going to be leading this conversation. I think Chantel's on as well from the MEC team. Yeah. If I can just hand over to you, that's great.
Yeah. Yes, I think it moves on quite well from what Carleen just said, because the one I've put on is actually affordable warmth, but that links in what Carleen talks about as well, just as an example. But I will share my slides.
Lovely. I'm sorry, I'm just conscious that there's a couple of hands still up. Did people have questions there?
I don't know if it was just the show of hands who's heard.
I know. I just thought I'd give opportunity just in case. No, somebody, they put them down. Lovely. Okay, thank you.
So just as a bit of an overview, so Tracy has asked me to come along and just give a bit of an overview of the MEC website and kind of how we get statistics and data and how we collect the information from the website, just so we can show you when you're using it what we see from the background side of things. So can you see that screen, everybody? Yep. Yes, perfect.
Yes,
right.
thank you.
So I should say I'm Mandy. Chantel is in the room somewhere. Can't see her, but she's here somewhere. So I'm one of the regional. Hello, Chantel. I'm one of the regional MEC coordinators, as is Chantel. So I tend to work in north of Tyne. Chantel works south of Tyne, but we'll cover the whole of the northeast and North Cumbria region. So I know Colleen, I know Chantel, you know Colleen as well. A few of you we might have seen through training and stuff as well, and hopefully in the future I'll touch on that at the end as well. So I was just going to do a little bit of an overview of what MEC is and how the website looks first, in case nobody's used it. So the first picture here is the landing page. So when you first go onto the MEC website, I'll say MEC just because it's a little bit easier than keep saying making every contact count, because it's a bit of a mouthful. So the top picture on the right there is the landing page. So you've got an accessibility tool on the website there. So if you need to change the language, you need it to speak to you, you need it to make the writing bigger, you can change the background colours, things like that. So that is really useful for whoever you're working with in your role. And then the second picture here just shows a few of the themes that we've got on the website there. So affordable warmth is the one I've just pulled a little bit of information from, but we've got alcohol, cancer awareness, we've got the cost of living that Colleen was talking about and you, Tracy, have talked about as well. We've got employment, we've got housing. So we've got lots of various different themes. So we've got up to 43, I think it is now. Not all of them are live at the moment. Some of them are hidden because we're busy working on governance groups. So the way it works is we work with experts in each particular area to get the content right, to make sure we've got all of the right information on there and all of the right signposting tools as well. So I know Craig has previously worked with Colleen to get all of the cost of living information on there and get all of that information right as well. So like I say, there's 43 themes at the moment. So you can have a look through that. Like I say, there's lots of different things. Some things are health focused, some things are all of the other wider determinants of health. So like I say, finances, social isolation, there's lots of different themes that you can look onto. That's the QR code in the website on the bottom. I've just left that screen on in case anybody hasn't looked at it before. When you then go on to click on one of the themes, so I've taken affordable warmth here. So when you click on one of the themes, the top picture you get is the first bit, so you get a little bit of a bump about what that particular theme is, and then you get conversation starters. So our website is designed to support you to have conversations. So making every contact count is about having those opportunistic conversations with people where you can support them to make a positive impact on their health and well-being. So it's not about being an expert in every single aspect of somebody's life. It's about using the website to support you to have those conversations. So you will get conversation starters. So our framework is ask, assist and act. So the ask is obviously those conversation starters. There's always answers as well, but I haven't opened the answers just to make the picture a little bit littler. But when you go on the website, there is answers as well. Again, that we've worked with the governance groups to make sure that we've got the right language in there, appropriate conversation starters to support you if you are not an expert in this particular area. And like I say, there's lots of different themes on there. The bit that predominantly goes back to the data as this map function. So most themes have got a map function on, so you can put in either your location or your postcode, and it will bring up all of the local services for you in that area. When you click on that local service, it'll bring you to the top right hand corner where it's got information and advice, and it's got those green, navy blue and light blue box. That is the box that comes up when you click on that local service. So you can text, email or print that service to the person that you're working with. It will then bring up a box where you can say, you put their mobile number in. It doesn't save anybody's mobile number, so from a confidentiality purpose, it doesn't save their number or their phone number. As soon as that message is delivered, that gets taken away. But the bit that I know Tracy was quite keen to talk about is how we collect the data. So you can put in where you're located, so Newcastle, Durham, Gateshead, wherever your location is, you can click that, and then you can also click your area of work. So we've got all of the DWP there, so work coach, PAS, disability employment advisor. So you can click where in the region you are and also what your job role is. So then we can collate that data in the background to see who's using the website and what they're using it for. So then that means we can go back to Tracy and say, Tracy, they're using it for this particular theme, so then you can do campaigns or more work around that, so that the advisors have got the most up-to-date information that they need around those topics. And I've just put on a little bit there, so the further information and then the links at the bottom, you will also get those sent. So each theme's got further information, so it can just be a little bit of text, a little bit of education, or it can be links to further like videos or posters or PDFs or anything. And then those at the bottom where it's got LEAP, HEAT and NHS, those are the more sort of national overarching resources that also get sent. So when you send that local service, all of that information is sent to the individual. So that's just one of the themes that I've just picked, but like I say, there's up to 43 at the moment we've got, so lots and lots of things to have a look at. And for all of those moments where you think, actually, I'm not an expert in this area, like Colleen said before, you can't be an expert in every single area when you're talking to somebody, so it's nice to be able to have that tool to support you with the conversation, but also to give them something at the end, to sort of give them that signposting tool at the end. So then I've just gone on to a little bit of the data stuff. I don't know how big this is on your screen, but this is how we collect all the data in the background. So we use Google Analytics, and we also use the statistics off the website as well. So this is just something that we've collected over time. So on the right hand side, you can see a graph. So that collects events. So those are anybody that goes onto the website. So goes on the landing page, goes on any theme, just creates an event within the website. So that is that dark green line. The orange one in the middle is the view. So that's when they've gone to a particular page. So we can collect data on who's using which individual theme, what themes they're using the most. Each would do that on a month basis as well. And then the light blue line at the bottom is so active users. So those are new users, but also users that are returning as well. And we'll keep that in a rolling table as well. So then we can look back on year. So January and February 26, we will look back to January and February 25 and see what the difference is, just so we can collate if it's being used more, what's being used, and then the top themes. So Colleen, cost of living has been in the top 3 since September last year. So it is very well used. And even before that, I think that was 1 month where it isn't. Oh no, it is. It's just its first. So actually, probably for the past year and a bit, probably about 14 months, cost of living has been in one of the top 3. Mental health is always in there as well. And then the third one tends to fluctuate with the time of the year. But cost of living, like Colleen said, it links quite nicely because cost of living is something that people are struggling with a lot. So it's always in our top 3, like I say, for the past 14 or so months. And mental health is always one that's right up there as well, because we know mental health links into lots of the other themes as well. So that's one of the ones that is always in the top 3 as well. This is our very new MEC Gateway dashboard. So Tracy, you were at the strategy meeting the other day, weren't you?
Yes, I was.
Yes.
Yeah. I love this tool. Yeah.
It's really good. So we had one previously which was a little bit more clunky. It had all the data on, but it was a little bit more clunky. So our very, very clever tech people have made this look a lot nicer and a little bit easier to use. So this pulls all of the data from the website. So Rob, our lovely text guy's got it all broken down into regions. So before, when I showed you that signposting tool, so you can click the area you're in, we can then collect all of that data to see who's using it in the region the most. So the top graph here is kind of signposting over time. So we'll go back as far as 2022 up to present day. So you can see in 2025 we've had a bit of a incline. 2 really big peaks, so May and August there. So that was when Craig did some work with Universal Credit, and Universal Credit rolled out the MEC website. So I had 2 really big peaks there. Down this side is the referrals by category. So like I said before, mental health and wellbeing is always up there, but cost of living. And that probably is, like I said, probably in the last year and a half, cost of living is coming right up there. Like I said, linked with all of the things that Colleen's talked about. I think a lot of people are struggling, so that one is coming up. The rest of them, like I say, tend to fluctuate, but alcohol's always up there. Housing, I think, links quite massively with the cost of living as well. But we can keep a running total on what people are using the MEC website for, what they're signposting people to, and then location down here. So that is also something that we collect on So when you use the website on your side of it, when you click those buttons, we can then collate who's using it in what area as well. So it's really useful for us then to go back to the MEC leads. So we have MEC leads within each area of the region. So we will go back to the leads and say, actually, this is what people have been signposting to the most in your area. And then they can potentially do some campaigns around that if people need more support around that. So it works as a two-way process as well. And then further on, this is probably the bit that Tracy, you wanted to focus on a bit more, isn't it? So this is when we collect the job roles. So I mean, this is massive because this is DWP work coaches and assistant work coaches. So you can see they are 1,062 as opposed to healthcare workers, which are 693, which just shows you the shift. I think in predominantly years back, making every contact count was down as a sort of a healthcare role, and that's where it should sit. But actually, you can see by this graph that actually the work coaches are having so many more interactions than the health workers are, because they're seeing people and they've got those touch points with them, so many touch points on a daily basis, and making the most of those touch points. You can see by that referral graph there. So I quite like that one. I think you did as well the other day, didn't you, Tracy?
I do. I like it. I think it's testament to what our workforce are doing. I mean, you know, this programme of supporting people into work or back to work or stay well in work. You know, it's the DWP PAS advisors and the work coaches or the health and wellbeing coaches who are sitting within these communities or GP practices. They're obviously doing a great job. They're using this website, you know, so I'm absolutely over the moon with it. But I wanted, you know, to show the group here that this is what you lot are doing. You know, we're seeing this, and this is why I think it's important that we collect that data, because actually, if we can see all of these signposts that are happening through the, you know, different people, actually, you know, we might ask the question, the so what? So what difference is it making? We know it is starting to make a difference. It's going to take time, but, you know, as part of this whole program, we hope that we do see that impact much clearer as time goes along. And, you know, it's the people out there working with the clients and the patients that are doing this. So, you know, well done to everybody who does use this website for signposting and the resources that are on that website. You know, I think it is a great tool. Thank you.
Yeah, and you can see, I think by the graph above as well, you can see like this is sort of categories over time. So the first one was referrals over time. This is specific categories over time. So you can see from the start of January 2025, coming through 2025 into 2026, it's so much higher than what it was in 2024 back here. So you can see that is making a massive difference. This one here probably will be mental health. Yes, it is. The peak ones here are always mental health, because it just is. It links to so many other things, so that always tends to be the one that is the highest. Like I say, it's always in that top 3, but like I said before, cost of living is massive as well, so that's coming up quite closely behind it. So, oh, sorry, Steve, did you want to ask a question?
No, I just want to make an observation. And first of all, I feel partly responsible for those 2 green spikes, because I was working with Craig and we put the message out to our customers that we were using MEC a lot more, and that prompted a lot of interest. And it's just to kind of on the back of that is to say that the value in using MEC site, obviously it's the customer that you're with and the value you can add to them, but it's also remembering the knock-on effect, because people talk about it and they share what they've discovered and what they've found, and the links with family members, with friends. So it's that kind of ripple effect, if you like. It's not just the immediate person. So that's why we in DWP are really pleased to promote and to use MEC and to continue to remind our colleagues of the value that it has. Which
links on really nicely to an event that myself and Chantel are running on the 16th of March called Realist Ripple Value. I can never get it right. Realist Ripple Effect Mapping. I have to think about it when I say it. We are going to bring leads from around the region to talk about their journey within MEC and those ripple effects and how it does have that cascade. So hopefully by the summer we'll have kind of a timeline of everybody in the region and how those effects have rippled out over, and it starts off as just this is what we've done and it just gets bigger and bigger. So that will be quite good. So Craig will feed all of that back as well. So hopefully we've got all of that by the summer. So that it does have that ripple effect, and I think it's not just with customers or clients that we're talking to, it's with our colleagues as well, making sure we're looking after our colleagues and supporting each other as well, because if we're not supporting each other, we can't support the people that we're working with as well. So it's I think it's got that dual purpose as well, hasn't it? So this slide just kind of gives an overview of the other ones that I've just talked about. So at the top there, so those are for the last quarter, so December, January and February. These are the data that I've taken. So nearly 6,500 active users. We always see a little bit of a dip sort of December, January time, just with the time of the year it is, but 6,500 users, nearly 59,500 views. So those are anybody's gone onto the website, they've gone on the landing page, any page just that created an event on there, so nearly 59,500. So that's quite extensive for 3 months. And then, like I said before, the top 3 themes in the last quarter: mental health, cost of living and alcohol. So it's really keen that we work with people like Colleen. So we work with people who are experts in their field so that we've got the right content on there. So it's not just me and Chantel saying, well, I think that's a good idea to have that on there. We work with people like Colleen to make sure we've got the right information on there. So we've got Colleen's website on there, and it's always up to date, and liaison with those people who can give us the information so that the end user is getting the right information, and so they're signposting their customers or clients to the right information and not something that's out of date. So that's really important as well. So that just gives a little overview of that. And then the last thing I was just going to touch on is the online courses that we've got. So myself and Chantel have arranged 3 courses with Tracy for April. So Tracy's shared the links, haven't you, Tracy, for everybody?
I have, yeah. They just went out on Friday. I will promote them again in the notes after this meeting. So that's great. But yeah, the sessions are there for everybody. So please do sign up if you haven't done this. At this training yet. It is very worthwhile, and you might think you already do a great job, and I think everybody does, but sometimes just having that information reinforced, I think, is really helpful. And it's only, what is it, about an hour and a half session, isn't it? So
it's an hour and a half. We've done them online as well, I think, Tracy, because you said that then we can capture more people doing them online. So hopefully we can get a lot of people there. And even if you've done it before and you just want to refresh, you can still come back and do a refresh. So we'll talk a little bit about what MEC is, what it isn't. We'll do a little bit of the policy and context, a little bit about behaviour change, and then we'll talk about the website as well. We'll do a little bit of an activity as well. So they're there, and Tracy will share the links again. But yeah, please sign up to it using the Boost platform, because then it means that you get your pre-survey, and then once you've done the training, you get your post-survey and your certificate through as well. So yeah, they're there to have a look at. And then just, is there any questions?
Thanks, Mandy.
No problem.
That's super. Like I say, yeah, if people have got questions that they want to put in the chat or fire off straight to the MEC team, they can do as well. So that's great. Any hands at all? Thank you. Okie dokie. That's super. Has anybody got any questions at all? No. I just wanted to share a little recap of the survey that went out to you all several weeks ago, after we had our public health consultant Jill Harland, who spookily is also the MEC lead for the region. She came on the call and spoke to everybody about the reducing barriers to healthcare access. So I sent out a survey. I just wanted to really share with you what those people, thank you to everybody who did respond. We didn't have a massive response, but it was enough to give us some sort of themes. So I'm just reading off my summary. So those who did fill it in, the majority of the advisors or coaches reported that issues with getting to healthcare appointments are discussed either sometimes or frequently, indicating that it is a widespread concern among people that they do support. That was in response to one of the questions. It's some of the narrative feedback that was provided highlighted that recurring barriers such as long waiting times for mental health services, difficulties accessing GP appointments, especially for vulnerable groups, and challenges related to digital access and the need for face-to-face support. So that was really helpful. And then one of the questions asked, how confident do you feel about providing information? That I think the response was most people feel confident providing information about available help, but several mentioned that there was a need for further support, particularly around transport, digital skills and awareness of available services to better assist people in accessing healthcare. So I think, again, you know, these surveys are important to help us understand, well, what is it that you need? And what would you like to, you know, if we need some extra information shared with this group to support you in your roles, we will try and do our best to do that. I have subsequently also sent another link out for a kind of training needs assessment survey. It's very short and it really is just a repeat of one that we've done in the past, just to ask you as a group if there is any topics or areas that you would like sort of reiterated during this monthly group, then please let us know. So if again, I'll send that link out again. If people can fill that survey, and we're trying our hardest to support you as a group, so you need to tell us what you need. But that's great. Mandy, did you want to come in there?
Yeah, it was just on the transport and the digital side of things. So those are two things I'm currently working on.
Oh, fantastic.
So that hopefully that I'll let you know when those are live. At the moment, we've got libraries and digital services, but there wasn't a lot populated there. It was predominantly more library based, but I'm working with a few different people in the region to get more of a digital offer on there about education, where you can get devices, just all of that kind of digital area, so that it's looking really good. So it'll start to change a little bit, but that might be something that I can then share with you once it's fully sorted. So it is still live, it's just changing gradually as I have the meetings with the experts in that field. Transport is not there as yet, but it's something I'm working on. I'm trying to get a bit of a governance group around transport to get that right, because it's very different in different areas of the region. It's a very different offer. So I have just sent out a doodle poll to get some a group together to try and get some content on transport. So again, I can keep you up to date with that for when that's ready, if that's going to be something that's going to support people's work as well.
Oh, that's great. And I think I put Jill in touch with the local maternity network lead as well. They were doing a bit of a study on different transport access to appointments for people. We are absolutely acutely aware that, you know, it's very different from trust to trust if people have got to get to hospital appointments, etc. So yeah, we'll hopefully get some resources around that soon. I'm just looking at Kimland. Sorry, did you want to come in there about?
Yes, I'm trying to understand the pathway for past advisor and work well coach. So for example, if a client, resident, or whatever we should call them, should come, what is like the criteria, you know, like the do's and the don'ts that you have to do for you to be put on like a cohort? Is there any barriers there? Who would you work along with? And in terms of if you get some resident or a customer, but you can't help them maybe because you can't fit or provide them the support that they want, where would you refer them to or signpost them to?
Okay. I don't know if there's anybody would like to have a go at answering that. I could probably get some information, but Kimland, I think in terms of
you don't have to answer it now.
Okay,
you don't have to do
that's
it today.
fine.
No, you can send it to me later.
Yeah. I think you might want to take a look at the WorkWell website.
Okay.
Which if you just Google it, WorkWell for the North East North Cumbria, it does give you some of the referral sort of routes and things on there. That's really helpful, because you know, it would take forever to explain all the things that we've got going on in this situation, but perhaps I can have a catch up with you separately, Kimland, just to talk about some of the different referral routes and our outcomes. Okay. Yeah, but yeah, that's fine. I'll take a look at that question and get in touch with you. Okay. Has anybody else, lovely, has anybody else got any other questions at all, or any other topics that you're really keen to hear about? No. Right, I'll just give one last plug. Unfortunately, I haven't got the link to it handy, but we did have some information from our Health Innovations North East North Cumbria colleagues, just to make another plug to the Tell My application, which has been promoted. They've got really low numbers of referrals, so they're really wanting to push that, and it's the Tell My application. So I just thought I'd plug that one last time. I'll put a link in the notes once I find it, for those that are not sure or who haven't heard of it yet. So, okay. But thank you everybody for your time. And I just see that Nicola's just popped something in. It's only available. Oh, thanks, Nicola. Yeah, I think I'll make that clear in my notes. Faye, did you want to come in last minute?
Yeah, sorry, I'm just jumping in. We've just recently had approval to roll that out to all areas, given the low referral numbers.
Okay.
So across the whole North East and North Cumbria, anyone can refer to that now.
Right. Okay. I think we'll get the information first, and then we'll make sure we're telling everybody the correct information with the link. Lovely. Thanks, Faye, and thanks, Nicola. Okay. Thanks, everybody. Nice to see you. There'll be a date for the next meeting coming along, probably after the Easter holidays now. And like I say, please do get in touch if there is any topics that you really want us to talk about, or invite people in to come and talk about. Okay. Take care, everybody. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.